26.3 is here.
You saw the pros demo it.
Well, it's cool as hell to watch the elite.
It's not realistic for most of us.
So we're throwing 2 quarterfinal level athletes with real jobs and lives into the mix.
Colton follows our online program, is a full-time firefighter, and trims trees on the side.
Versus Meg, who does classes, works in sales, and bakes the best bread this side of the Mississippi.
No last dance, no escape from the ways we've been to break. No last chance, no long days. Yeah, it all just fades away. Lost again, looking for a way out. Giving in, tearing all away now. Always falling. It's sinking in. The end's closer than we think.
Tree guy versus bread lady.
Your real 26.3 demo starts now.
All right, 26.3 is here. We got the final showdown of Tree Guy versus Bread Lady. If you are Team Bread Lady, let me hear it. If you are Team Tree Guy, let's hear it. It's time to break the tie. Athletes, touch hands. Your workout starts now.
Ooh. And before we get started, shout out to the Icarus Plan who provided the theme song for this series. The song's called Wasteland. Shout out to them.
Shout out.
Download
Homies.
it on Apple Music,
Yep,
Spotify.
Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere you can get your music.
Nice. All right. 26.3. I have 2 just big picture thoughts before we get into the details of this. The first thought is, please, please, please do not picture this as a 4-time workout. This is a 16-minute AMRAP, and I think that if everybody watching this video can think about it as a 16-minute AMRAP from the very start of this workout, you're going to set yourself up for success. And then the second thing that I want to say is, when you get about 8 minutes into this workout and you are hating everything about CrossFit, remind yourself that you choose to do this. Have a very positive mantra in your head. This workout is going to be absolutely brutal, as you're going to find out here if you didn't watch the demo. So please, please, please remind yourself that you are choosing to put yourself through this.
I talked to Colton right after he finished the workout, and he said that at the 6-minute mark, which we'll see very soon, he was like, oh my God, I thought I was supposed to be finished. I had 10 minutes left. He said this is the worst he's ever felt from a workout. So.
I think this is the worst I've ever seen elites, like, not like they
demo.
did
Yeah,
badly, but like
Yeah.
they looked like they felt absolutely terrible during it. I don't remember ever seeing something like that.
Yeah.
Like usually you watch it and you're like, they made that look easy. I
Yeah.
can do it too. This is like, no,
Yeah.
danger.
Not this one.
Yeah, that should be the first warning sign, is watching the elites on the demo, starting to put elbows on knees about this 6 to 8 minute mark and realizing the mistakes that they made. So I talked to Colton a little bit beforehand. I don't know if you guys talked to Meg about their strategy. Colton knew that he had to sort of pace things a little bit more. He also knows that burpees are a little bit of a strength of his, so he didn't want to slow down there too much. He wanted to stay smooth on those, is what he kept saying. One thing that me and I were talking about before is it might be worth, actually, instead of saying I want to stay smooth on burpees, to actually put a rest break into your burpees too. So we'll talk about rep schemes for the cleans and the thrusters, but something to consider here might actually be a rep scheme for burpees, which isn't something that we usually talk about.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested. If anyone tries this, let us know. But doing
I try it every
something-
time I do burpees.
Plan breaks.
I think of it as like, so burpees for me are probably my worst movement in the sport. They just destroy me. And I always feel like when I hit that wall, it's like the rest break chose me and I can't do anything about it. So if you choose the rest break earlier, and normally people like can't rest on burpees, that's not tough, but burpees are a very difficult movement for certain types of athletes. And if you did like 4 reps and then either like just plopped to the ground and counted like 1, 2, 3 on the ground before popping up and then did your next 4 reps, or if you can't really breathe like that, you could do it like standing up. I wonder if that would help you.
It would be like a wall walk rest where your chest is on the ground and your arms are kind of like flopped
Right,
out to the sides
yeah.
with no tension.
Yeah.
I do think it would be helpful because most people, when they get to like grief burpees, are doing them so slow, but they're actually not also recovering. So they're like max effort and slow. So I think you might actually be better off like going a little bit faster than you're comfortable and then laying down like after every 3 or 4 for a second or two.
I always preach on certain movements like wall walks. If you watch the wall walk video that we put out, I said this to Meg. Rope climbs, don't do those movements slower. Just rest longer in between. But we don't really do that on burpees. I definitely don't do that on burpees. So I wonder if that's
Yeah.
Something
One
to
strategy.
This is something that I noticed, and you can see really clearly here. Both of them are like really flexed at the lower back when they're picking up the power cleans. And this workout has a lot of bending over because you're going and doing the burpees and essentially kind of doing like an air deadlift in both directions every time you're bending over. So I think if possible, just keeping your posture a little bit more like extended and using your legs on the power clean, even though it doesn't feel like you need to and it could be a little bit of extra energy. I think in the course of this workout, it might actually benefit you to like almost squat into your starting position a little bit more so your back can stay a little bit more neutral, just for the effect of being able to breathe and not have your back blow up later in the workout.
I just heard all that, but can't visualize it. What are you saying to do?
All right, when they do power cleans again the next time, basically like they're bending over from the back instead of like squatting down and bending from the hip when they're going to pick the bar up. So you'll see like both of them have kind of rounded back. See like right there, even when she picked up that thruster, and Colton right here where he's holding it, they're doing just a lot of bending. And when you're bending for a burpee, that's like kind of normal where you just let your body round. But when you're doing it against external weight, it can, tighten your back up a lot and then make it hard to breathe later in the workout.
One thing that I was thinking about with thrusters watching them do this is, again, keeping in mind that this is a 16-minute workout. You are going to be moving for this entire time unless you're in the top 0.001%. Not putting too much power into these thrusters. I think that there's a difference between me trying to chase cycle speed with a thruster in terms of how fast I'm changing directions in the bottom and how fast I'm actually trying to hit my lockout, versus keeping these a little bit more like a wall ball pattern where it's a little bit smoother at the top. I'm not trying to get there as fast as I can, and I'm trying to make sure that I do have a chance to almost breathe at that lockout position. I think when I think about the total volume of this workout, and also just the never-ending tension that I'm under during the set of thrusters, if I'm not putting max power into them for a 95 or 65-pound bar, it's probably saving me a little bit more energy over the course of this whole workout.
I just had the thought too that instead of a like break in the thrusters, especially on the rounds that you have to switch weight, you might be able to just take a break at the halfway point, switch one side, and then do the other side right before you start the next movement.
Yeah.
Wait, in the middle of the thrusters?
No,
do
like
the
when you're
burpees.
moving, in the burpees.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. We haven't had a workout in a while that's been change your own weight in the open. And I do think that that is a strategic point, is using those weight changes when it's going to benefit you the most.
Mm-hmm.
They both did both plates at the same time. I wonder if splitting that up, so like you do one plate right when you finish the thruster, like you said, do half, or whenever you need it, but just taking those breaks at separate points.
Yeah.
That
Like
will
you do-
slow you down though.
Yeah, but it goes on the theme of what we were saying with burpees anyways. Like if it's a built-in rest break for you to change your plate during that round, then it might make sense.
Well, Meg did her change before the burpees, and he did his after. Do y'all have any thoughts on that?
I think you do it when you need it, but I personally would probably do one right after the thruster, do burpees, and then do another one.
Like do
Like
six
do
burpees.
some burpees,
Yeah.
do another one, finish the burpees.
I think I'd do that too. What that does is that's basically 2 chances for me to catch my breath instead of one long rest break changing both sides.
Yeah, I don't think there's really like necessarily a right answer. It's kind of just like what you're most comfortable with. But I think doing them both at the same time and then just going right into 12 burpees and then trying to go right into 12 cleans immediately, I don't think is the move. I think, either splitting them up or putting one at the beginning and one at the end of the set so you kind of get 2 little breaks. I think that would probably be my my first gut after watching this.
I would just urge you guys to think about it before you do the workout. Decide when you're going to do it. I'm
Unlike what we
serious,
do.
but like use it when you need it, and that's going to be different for each athlete. But it is something you can use to help you.
Oh,
See
here,
where the
Meg-
workout takes you.
Yeah,
Okay.
Meg just did the inner burpee rest set.
Nice.
Yeah,
She
but
laid
it
there for a
chose
second.
her.
Yeah,
She didn't choose it.
Yeah, she didn't plan
That's
it
the
ahead of time.
difference.
Yeah.
We talk about it at camps a lot when we do barbell cycling, sort of drill skill breakout sessions. But what you'll see with Colton doing singles here, and I think that Meg's still doing touch and go on her cleans, but if we were to rewind a little bit or watch Colton's next set of cleans, what I'd like to emphasize with this is when you do get to singles, and I think almost everybody's probably going to get to singles at some point, don't bend over and put your hands on the bar and then rest further in that position. I think that this position here where you're hunched over, your hands are on the bar, and you're kind of thinking about a rep is very, very unfulfilling from a rest standpoint. If you're doing singles, stay up tall, get yourself another couple of breaths, and then when you bend over, like Max was saying, make it a little bit more of a squat pattern, hunch down to it, both hands go onto it at the same time. You're not doing a 1RM power clean for most of the people there. Keep those singles cycling a little bit faster, but don't spend too much time hunched over where there's not much air.
Yeah, and you're going to be hunched over for a huge portion of the workout anyway while
Yeah.
you're doing burpees, so you don't need to add to it.
I'm very jealous of both of their squat patterns.
Yeah, they
are
both look
both
great.
so good with
Yeah,
thrusters.
very vertical. If you're not, I don't really think there's anything from a technique standpoint you're going to be able to do here.
Yeah.
But I think it just means probably more breaks overall in the thrusters because they're going to be way less efficient.
Yeah,
if you're
definitely more
not,
breaks.
Yeah, if you're not good in the front rack pattern.
One of the big points of performance that we put into our PDF for this week was making sure that your rack position and your squat position are as warmed up and as open as possible because, again, this is not about movement speed for 80 to 85% of the CrossFitters out there. This is going to be about making sure that you are enduring and you're keeping your movement quality as high as possible for as long as possible. So having a really good position is good if you're naturally gifted like these two. Taking the time to try and make sure that you're opening those guys up before you start this workout is going to pay dividends later in it.
As someone who has a terrible front rack position, what do you call it where you do a reverse grip and grab the stall bar and then bend down into
Yeah,
it?
like a prayer stretch kind of.
Oh my
or-
God. If
yeah.
you have a bad one, that one will open you up.
Nice. We're going to put a video demo of Chris doing that stretch for everybody.
Well, yeah, we're going to actually watch him warm up before the workout. Share it.
Do you think that there's a different approach for guys versus girls given the weights here? And I'm not complaining that the girls should have a heavier bar. I'm
Yes,
not saying
you
that.
are.
I'm not saying that. You
I
said that.
think most guys should probably go singles.
I think most guys should
Yeah.
go singles. I think that especially even watch Meg's strong. Like Meg's very strong for peers in her field. But just seeing how she moves that bar compared to Colton, I think that there's a chance that girls can probably do touch and go cluster sets a little bit longer than guys.
Yeah, I
Also,
agree.
that 15-pound plate bounces so much. So that is, to me, sometimes it's like more tiring trying to like chase it with singles where I can like breathe better just doing, a set of 4 or I probably wouldn't do 12 or probably not even 6, but like 4s or 3s and then not having to chase the bar as much on probably the first 2 bars.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to the front rack thing. If you are inefficient in that position, this workout might actually be a good workout to put weightlifting shoes on and give yourself a little bit better of a position to squat. It's definitely not ideal to do burpees in them, but if it's going to put you in such a bent over, compromised wrist position that you can't squat appropriately, I think the leverage you gain from it or even putting heel lifts in could be beneficial to just like not be almost like falling over and crunched over from a bad rack position.
Yeah. I mean, if you finish the workout, it's 144 burpees, but very, very few people are going to get to that number. So if you assume you're doing somewhere between 80 to 100 burpees, doing those in weightlifting shoes, especially knowing that burpee cycle rate is not the separator on this, it's
Yeah.
more about just like overall limiting your rest times. It might be
And
worth
your
it for
jump
people to mess
isn't
around
like
with that.
a real jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like 2 feet in the air at any given time, which it's
Yeah.
actually more awkward to make that a no rep, to step across your body.
Yeah, you have to try to no
You have
rep
to try
that.
and no rep
Yeah.
that.
So y'all obviously had already seen this. We're watching the replay here. But before we went into it, who did y'all think was going to take this one?
I thought it was going to be Tree Guy.
I really didn't know because I knew Meg was better on the barbell, but I didn't know that the barbell was going to be as big of a factor as it was.
Yeah.
Is that not?
Well, you spoiled it in the way you answered it.
Damn it, spoiler alert.
I
We're
knew
4 minutes
Tree
in.
Guy was going to win. I knew he was going to win.
Also, since we're talking about them, I just want to shout them out. Thank you so much for doing these demos. This is really hard to
Yes.
do. Thursday night, you haven't seen anyone do it except for people that you can't really compare to at all. You know the whole internet's going to be watching, and if you do one thing wrong, they're going to attack you.
Yeah, we don't
And-
have time to read everything
Yeah,
in
so
detail.
like, just shout out to these guys for doing it, and
Yeah.
if they helped you, maybe drop a comment saying thank you because
Yeah.
it really
That'd be
it's
awesome.
hard.
Yeah.
The hardest part, I think, is in a workout like this where everybody knows don't come out hot, don't come out and then there's 30 people
Right.
yelling in your
Yeah.
ear at the 30-second mark.
Yeah.
Let's freaking go!
It was my nightmare.
Let's go!
Yeah, Christine's yelling at him. He was falling behind at the end of the workout. He's at 100 out of 10 pain and really yelling, pick it up,
I
pick it
saw at
up.
one point he dropped a set or like put down the set of thrusters and immediately he's like, pick it back up.
Yeah,
I'm like, well,
They're like
maybe not.
right in his ear too.
He did have a pretty good idea of where he was going to end up. So I was talking to him before, and he said, I think I'll get to that last bar, like the first round of that last bar. So he kind of knew where he was going to go, which, again, that's very helpful to sort of just set expectations for yourself mentally about how much work you have left, how many rounds of burpees and cleans do I have left, was that my last thruster round? It kind of helps you to gauge your effort later on. These guys still, just even saying that, these last rounds are going to be hell on earth for most people.
Yeah. I think like just based on score performance, being in the second weight in the second half, somewhere in there is probably going to be like the 75th percentile, like quarterfinal
Cut
place. Yeah. I mean, I can't predict exactly where it's going to be, but if you're trying to wrap your head around how much work you're going to do based on where they are, that's probably a good, like, you know, target point because they've been well above the cut line on every week.
The dang tree is getting
Lucy.
because they came out with all those bread heads, and then they were like, "Well, what can we do?" And
Yeah.
so they went and got that little tree from the office.
Not the same level of support on Tree Guy's side.
So this is Meg's first set with the heavier bar.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's
Singles on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone's going to be singles here.
I mean, I think her singles are not because of the weight. I think it's because of
Fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
For power cleans, I feel at least the women's weights, it's like not that crazy of a difference cycling from the 65 to the 85. For thrusters, I do think 85 is
Yeah.
a much more difficult press out, especially after all those burpees.
I agree with that. So we're through the Open now. This is week 3 of the Open, and the heaviest bar that we saw was 135 and 85.
Yeah.
Is that a good test?
I don't know. I don't know if you
I-
can have a comprehensive 3-week test.
Yeah,
Right.
it's probably impossible.
yeah.
Yeah, unless you like guarantee that there's some sort of double score or something.
Yeah,
I was
Lot of
pretty
s-
sure coming in that there wasn't going to be a double score this week just because they were doing it at Miami.
same.
But I was still hoping that it would be a slightly heavier bar.
Yeah, and the tests all came out like similar time frames for like non-elites-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, most people are working to the 16-minute cap on this one. Most people worked all the way up until the wall ball cap.
Yeah.
I mean, even elites are working up to the cap.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, not in the others, so.
Yeah, the fastest time we saw from Wadapalooza was 14:15, which is freaking amazing given what the demos did.
Where's Meg at right now? She's on her first round still.
She's on the first
third-
round of the heaviest weight.
Doing
of-
her first set of burpees.
It's second set of burpees.
Second set of burpees,
And then
yeah.
she'll be going into the thrusters. So she's almost finished one of the 2 rounds of the heavyweight.
and the crowd goes, "Wow!"
Yeah, this
It
is
got
where
so
this is
loud.
where yeah, you can't really see it. They're screaming so loud. Kyle Abdo
Habdo
went
is
deaf.
hating himself. He wishes that he had headphones right
He's
now.
like,
Colton was
screaming.
looking at the clock and just waiting for it to be over. He still had a little burst here, though.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
They
All right.
crushed it.
Bread
really
Lady,
well done.
Bread Lady took it, huh?
Yeah.
So wait, there's a chance though that my man Colton can throw his chip.
He said he's doing it
You know,
again
the funny
on
thing about the
Monday.
chip is that on episode 1 of this series, we talked about this chip, but Mike butchered how it was supposed to work so bad that I cut it out.
Oh, so they don't even
so
know
it's
that
not a
there's a
thing?
chip?
Wait, but we
so
talked.
no
we-
one in the audience knows.
No, we talked about it in this
No, I
in
don't think so.
26.1. I thought we did.
If you did, there was no
or maybe
context.
maybe it was the podcast afterwards. We definitely talked about it.
Oh, there was a podcast because we named the chip names.
All right, enough
Anyways,
about that.
No. I have a question about this. If Colton redoes this, are you going to film it and we're going to talk over his redo? Because the score would have to count. Like, we'd have to talk
Okay.
about it again.
All right, if you want to see Colton's redo, leave a comment. But for now, let's go talk to them out on the floor.
All right, amazing work to both of our demo athletes. You guys showed up week after week and threw down. Thank you very much for doing this. Yeah. And congrats to our champion, Bread Lady. Super impressive performance. So we were just talking and you mentioned a little bit about how the burpees felt. Walk me through what was going into your mind when you were really kind of in the middle of the suck.
The burpees were definitely the hardest part, so I was just trying to figure out a way to like not exhaust myself on them and just kind of keep them steady. So it was more like mental on the burpees where the bar felt a little bit lighter and I could just kind of, especially on the cleans, recover on the cleans.
All right, Tree Guy, you said you had the opposite experience. You were caught in a little bit of a chasing race. Walk me through where your headspace was at, what you did to kind of keep pushing.
I knew I could keep up with her on the burpees, but I just didn't want to grab the barbell. It felt really hard to me. The burpees didn't feel as hard, but I don't know. Maybe I paced it wrong because it feels that way.
What are you thinking, redo Monday?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Every Monday.
I love it. All right, guys. So how are we feeling about quarterfinals? Are we going to throw our hat in the ring?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what about you?
TBD.
Okay, well, what if we document your quarterfinals performance? Would you guys like to see that? Let us know in the comments.
I'll be in Texas.
Oh, look at this. We got gifts from a lucky band and a ficus.
Oh,
amazing.
Oh no!
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
All right, so Bread Lady, you follow TTT Affiliate. Tree Guy, you follow TTT Compete. Right now, you can use the code QUARTERS26 for 26% off of your first month if you want to give the programming a try. Again, let these guys know how thankful you are for them showing up each week and allowing them to basically put in a performance and you build your strategy off of it so you can go crush the open. We'll see you 2027.
Good luck.